All right, guys, welcome to the show. The stars, Ashton and Fedor. Ashton's cleaning the chairs.
Hey, everybody.
Good job, Boo. Say hi, Boo. Say hi. Wave. You got to wave. All right. Hey, Joe, man. Monday's city council meeting. Oh, dude, so much to talk about.
There's a ton of it. If we did, it'd be a 4-hour-long video.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it started out with a closed session, executive session, whatever you want to call it, before the actual council meeting. They came out there, and there was one reportable action?
Yes, the first time they came out, or the second, I think it was the first time they came out with the reportable action, and then it was a vote. It was a 3-2 vote, and it was a vote to release the interim city manager. But the motion was made by Mayor Robertson, and of course his sister-in-law seconded. Man, those guys are tight at the hip. This is why you don't want family members on boards, because all you gotta do is watch these meetings with these guys. It's almost automatic. They've only strayed once or twice,
Right.
And it's just anyway, not to ramble on that, but it was 3-2.
Yeah, it was 3-2 vote. So they, after 1 month, Scott says, hey, we need to get rid of this guy.
Yeah,
So they took a vote, and they came out. It was reported that Cho, Navarro, and Trujillo said, no, let's keep him.
let's keep them.
And Robertson and Guerra said, no, we need to get rid of him.
Yep.
Now, why? We don't know. That's a closed-door item.
Yeah, we won't know.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on there. We just know that he's going to stay. So after a month.
So just throw my quick 2 cents in. After watching forever, being on a board for a while, I think that was a political move, man. Political stunt, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would say that it's correct to take that assumption.
Yeah, that natural assumption.
Which will come in later in this video when
Yeah,
we
that's
talk
what I
about
was saying,
assumptions.
Yeah.
So that gets reported at the beginning of the meeting. The first big issue, there's a bunch of stuff that happens.
Yeah.
The first big one is the districting, the redistricting of Selma.
Yeah, once again.
Yeah, so we had our census. So we did district. 2 years ago we districted,
Yeah.
and we ended up going with 4 districts and an elected mayor at large.
Yes.
Which that's a whole nother subject on how we
big
came to
story,
that
yeah.
versus the 5 equal districts.
Yeah.
But now we have to redistrict because of the last census and make sure that the numbers still jive.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that's happening. Now, why is that important? Because they have a number of public forums that they have to go through.
Yeah.
They have to talk about it. It's going to be coming up. If you want to be involved in this, then we'll try to put links down or in the comments, say something. What are you curious about? What are you interested in?
Yeah.
Because that redistricting process, the time clock has begun.
Yes.
So that clock is ticking.
And it does matter. The redistricting does matter.
It does matter. It didn't sound like they were going to make big changes.
Yeah, they might not.
Yeah, it sounded like some small changes were going to happen, but this is at this time is where you keep an eye out for any gerrymandering that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't like that, man.
Yeah, so hey, do we have somebody we want to run, so let's move this district line, or somebody we
Yeah.
don't want to run, so we'll move this district line, somebody who's a threat to us in this seat, or, that's what you want to kind of keep an eye out for, in my opinion. So that redistricting was the first big thing. The second big thing to me, they start discussing second chance animal shelter.
Yes, and that becomes really big.
Well, it comes up because at the previous meeting, Blanca Mendoza Navarro had brought up the contract. Now, it's important to know she didn't just bring up that contract. She brought up other contracts.
Yeah, she mentioned something about 10 contracts, and then there was 3 that I think might have expired or were in the
Right.
process. And then she uses second chance as an example.
Right.
And then, so that riles people up. But all she was doing was questioning the contract.
Right, but the reason people got riled up is because there was a little bit of misdirection, a little bit of half-truth told
At the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting.
that meeting.
by Mayor Scott Robertson.
Yeah, because he mentioned something about a council person wanting to defund.
Yes.
And all of a sudden now, the blame goes to Navarro
Right.
and Mr. Trio, as he mentions in the meeting.
So he did kind of address that in this meeting, and that's where the assumption word comes in, because he said that it was a
Natural
assumption that they wanted to defund it.
Because she brought it up.
Because she brought it up, which is actually the exact opposite of the truth, because John Trujillo brings up, hey, maybe they're not getting enough money.
So Trio gives a little bit of a backstory on how that place started. And I think he's talking about how the foundation of it, the building and pouring the concrete.
Right.
And then, he brings up
the actual beginning.
Yeah, Mr. Gray at that time. And then Mr. Robertson goes on this whole thing about, he was the first one to start it or something like that.
Right.
But then Mr. Trillo, though, 2 times I believe says lie.
Twice.
That was a lie.
Right.
And then Mr. Robertson gets kind of heated. Mrs. Navarro is asking him to please tone it down because of the way he's speaking.
Right.
And then he turns around and
he snaps at her.
He kind of snaps at her. Hey, don't interrupt me. Which I get it, don't interrupt me, but it's the tone and the way he does it.
Oh yeah, you can watch it. It's at 2 minutes and 29 minutes, 2 hours and 29 minutes into the meeting.
Into the video, yeah.
Is when that interaction takes place. And if you look at that, it didn't look like Scott was having his best night.
Yeah.
Remember, they just came out of a closed session where he basically lost the vote that he wanted. So it looked like he was a little upset.
Yes. You know what we forgot, though? I think we forgot it.
We didn't forget it. We haven't gone over it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then what happens?
At the beginning of that second chance.
Yes. Go ahead, Joel. You got it, man.
Scott Robertson, who is was the treasurer of Second Chance, is treasurer and something else, secretary maybe?
Treasurer or secretary, yes.
Resigns from Second Chance.
Yeah.
Okay? So he resigns from that. Now, if you don't think 2 guys in the backyard on a, whatever you want to call it, no budget show.
No budget show.
Make a difference. We talked about this on our last video, saying he's on the board that receives the money. He's also on the board that votes for the money.
Yeah. Now we don't know if he's actually voted though. We don't know.
We just know
a fact.
he sat on those 2 boards.
Yes.
And there have been votes in the past.
Yes.
But before this second chance, right off the get, he resigns from second chance.
Yeah. He says that he resigned at the second chance at the last meeting.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because then he goes forward and then he makes the vote. So that made me think, well, have you voted like that in the past while you sat on these 2 boards?
Well, you can bet we're going to find out because we're going to look into it.
Oh, yeah. But not only that, so what makes it more interesting to me is he was sitting on that board. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he may have been there when the health board gave that second chance money for the dishwasher for dog bowls, washer and dryer for dog towels. Now that's $10,000. It was around $10,000 of health board money. Now why that's interesting to me is because his wife was the president
of the health board.
Her sister, one of her sisters, was the treasurer, and Mr. Jim Avalos,
the butcher of Selma,
the guy who lost to Mrs. Navarro, his wife was the 3rd vote on that one. It was a 3-2 vote to give that money to Second Chance. Remember now why it's a big deal to me is because it's health board money.
Well, yeah, it's disgusting how they're spending health board money. It's not disgusting that they're taking care of the animals. That's a beautiful thing.
No, that's awesome. Take care of them, but there's ways you do that.
There is. Yeah.
Not using our health board money is definitely shouldn't have never happened. And you mentioned it before too, that hey, they bought the shelter's truck.
Yep.
And now I know that was almost $65,000. $65,000. And I don't know who was on the board at that time.
Right. It's like taking the rent money to go to the movies. You just don't do that. So you don't take that health board movie. You don't take that health board money and spend it on dogs. You spend it on people, on the health.
Yes. Now I love dogs, but I would never have done that with health board money.
Not what it's for.
And you go out and you keep on raising money or.
Right.
Find a grant.
I'll be down there in my bikini washing a car. Let's do it.
Yeah. So anyway, not to get off track on that, but that's where that question, because he resigns now, because now people are questioning it, that makes me start thinking about that.
Well, that's good, because that means we're bringing you the truth. Now, how do we know they watch? Watch the end of the council meeting.
Oh, yeah.
His wife, Mrs. Robertson, actually says it. Talks about people saying stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, we say it in front of God and everybody.
Yep.
You can watch us in London right now, right?
Yeah,
we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's the same story.
Same story, man. So we give out facts, we give out our opinions.
Right.
Some would even say natural assumptions.
There are some assumptions that happen.
Yeah. So, but it is what it is, man. So she calls it out. Gives us a good shout out.
Thanks for the shout out. Thanks for the views.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then what happens?
I got about closes it down. There was a lot of stuff.
Did we say the part where the citizen?
No. We did
Okay,
not talk
so
about
we have
that.
a citizen that talks about the animal shelter part, where she's asking a question about the animal shelter tying into Kingsburg.
Right. That was at 2 hours and about 34 minutes. A citizen was talking and got quite the reaction from Scott.
Yeah, so the mayor makes some noise, and I don't know, he made a face, I guess, because the citizen says, hey, you don't have to get hostile with me. And then she said, hey, look at the look on your face. Come on, man, give me a break.
And you can see it if you go back. Just click on that. Go to 2 hours and 34 minutes, and you can see him. He just it was certainly passive aggressive.
Oh man! But she called it out because she goes up there and asks a question. And that's what he does to her because it's not the question he wants.
Right. Exactly. Now the very last citizen, I believe it was, to speak.
Oh, she did great, man.
She knocked it out of the park. And go for it. What'd she say?
Well, she brings up the code of conduct.
Right.
She doesn't like what she sees up there.
Right.
And hey, I agree with her 100%. It looks bad, but I don't know how she's seeing it. She doesn't like it, and I'm not 100% sure how you see it. I mean, I can make a natural assumption, but the way I see it is that the two that lost power are trying to kick up dirt. This is the way I see it, because it seems like Mrs. Cho is really quiet. Navarro's quiet, asks a lot of questions. Mr. Churrillo, he's not saying a whole bunch of stuff, but he goes in there and says, "Hey, I'm working for you guys." He says certain things, but to me, it seems like all the dust gets kicked up by the other two. Like bringing up the interim's manager at this meeting.
Right.
The natural assumption about Mrs. Navarro wanting to defund it, which was a lie.
Right.
I mean, that kicks up dirt.
Yeah, when there's something that they're
isn't
doing
true.
that is questionable, not just maybe not the most popular thing. It's mum's the word.
Yeah. So, and that's why the other thing with the videos, it's a good thing because the other three are pretty quiet socially. You don't see too much about these guys, but you see a lot from the other side, from the ones that are the mayor. Well, not even the mayor. Some of the family members.
Right.
And they're really outspoken out there, which is okay. But we just want to make sure that it's always true.
Well, yeah, we want you to know the truth. When something is a half truth, we want you to know. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, 100%. And then so the SRO. It has to do with the school, so I'm not going to really say anything. But there was a vote to move forward.
Well, that's right. We didn't talk about that, did we?
Yeah.
So there was a SRO vote to move forward, and so what that means now is that the city they've been authorized to work with the school district to come up with some sort of arrangement for who's paying and how much and yada yada. They didn't vote to do anything. They just voted to start working on it or continue working on it. So that was a 3-2 vote. So that was Trujillo, Cho, and Navarro voted for that to happen. Now, interestingly enough, the two people that ran on public safety, voted against that.
Yeah.
So okay. So we're saying one thing, doing another kind of thing. Are we not following our convictions anymore? What have we? I don't know. It would be interesting that the two people that were backed by the POA, the Police Officers Association, voting. There's a lot of questions there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of questions there. Are they still backed? It'll be interesting to see when next election comes around.
Yeah. So that vote, like you said. So I think the vote, if I remember right, the vote is to go ahead and move forward, and they're gonna with the contract. With the school district, because they do work together. They work together as far as city manager is working with the superintendent. Now, it's not set up. It's not set up for the boards to make deals. Right. I'm not going to go over there and talk to the mayor and, hey, we're going to make a deal. This is what I don't.
No.
That it don't work like that.
No, board members should not be talking to each other.
Yeah, because then you get backdoor deals all the time.
Exactly. So the council is. They give direction to the city manager. The city manager then carries that out. Remember, the council only has 2 employees. They can only hire and fire 2 people. That's the city manager and the city attorney. That's it. Anything else, anybody else they talk to is micromanaging. So if any council member is talking to anybody else, any other department, that's micromanaging. And that's a that's a bad sign.
Yeah. Hey, and let's end this on a good note, Joe.
Yeah.
So you can watch the meeting on YouTube.
Yes.
At the very top, where the mayor's at, and towards the top, at the city of Selma, and it says, and there's like big lettering up there.
Right.
It says, "In God we trust."
Right. Do we?
I 100% do. The reason why I bring that up because I think that's totally awesome, and now I noticed it because of a councilwoman, Mrs. Guerra saying, "Hey, I put my religion to the side."
Right.
So I think that's awesome to see that because the religion in there
Yeah.
shouldn't be put to the side, and it's not when you have those letters up
It's
there.
right there on the top.
Yeah.
Right behind every one of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure to point that out because it is in God we trust.
It is.
It's not, hey, I'm over here and putting my convictions to the side. That's bullshit.
Right. No, you got elected because of your convictions. Now stick
You
to
should
them.
have. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, thanks for watching. Hey, Joe, another good episode. It's very informative, man. I mean, dude, we're like the average Joe, you know? Joe with his Walmart shirts, me with my old school, glory days of heavy metal. Ashton.
Walmart's not paying us, by the way.
yeah. Hey, man, Slipknot didn't give me a dime. But hey, man, so we just want people to know there's always two sides. So there's a narrative that some people are trying to push, and we want to make sure, hey, look, we're trying to tell you the truth. We do have our opinions because we know some of the players.
Yeah, and I encourage you, find out the other side on somewhere where they're telling the same thing to everybody.
Yeah.
There's not a YouTube channel for the other side.
Yeah, and here's another thing, man. One of the things I've always done is try not to ever lie. I mean, hey, if I have the wrong information and I spill it out there, hey, man, I'll apologize and take it back.
Right.
So I do not lie, man. And the one thing that I've always done on the school board, and I hate to bring that school board up, but is I never lie, man.
Right.
And I think public officials, when they purposely do it, need to be held accountable.
They absolutely should.
The natural assumption thing that got Mrs. Navarro hammered, and got Mr. Trio hammered, is total BS.
When you do that right away, you're doing that knowing what the reaction is going to be, and that you can come back later and say, well, it was a natural assumption. Well, the damage has already been done.
Damage done. Yeah. Mr. Trio brought up, hey, people were saying they're going to boycott my business.
Right.
That's a total bullshit because of that assumption.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? If he did have a problem, like you said, he should have called it out then when she was doing it. He should have said, are you talking about defunding? Because what he did was total BS.
Right, and then you're getting into where what you're saying is actually financially affecting someone else.
It's not cool, man.
Yeah.
Not cool. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for watching the show. Ashton, you want to say bye? Say bye, boo. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Hey, please like, share.
Leave comments.
Tell
us what you want us to talk about. If you want to dig deeper into any one of these, bring it up.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and then, hey, we'll follow up.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, guys. Bye.